Did you know that whey protein is actually a miracle food? It can help you build muscle, recover faster, and fuel your body after training. But here is the truth that most people do not realize. Out of 52 whey protein companies, I investigated, only five made the cut. That's right. The rest either ignored our questions, refused to be transparent, or flat out denied participating. And some of the most popular whey protein brands never answered our inquiries or ghosted us. So if you're using whey protein, you're going to learn what are the best brands of 2025. And this is where my mission comes in. I'm Dr. Christian Gonzalez, a naturopathic doctor and somatic practitioner. My passion is in protecting the brain and the nervous system because they are truly at the root of so much of our health and disease. So if we care for our nervous system, we thrive. If we expose it, inundate it with toxins, chemicals, and stressors, we are going to suffer. And that's why I'm doing these product reviews, to protect you, protect your family, and make sure you're out there only buying products that are safe and effective and truly what they claim to be. Now, let's talk about whey protein itself. Whey is a fantastic source of protein. It is rich in essential amino acids. It supports that muscle repair. It's fast digesting. It makes one of the most effective post-workout proteins that you can possibly take. And I can attest to it. It helped me put on so much muscle, more than I ever have when I started taking whey. But here's where the industry fails. Contamination risk. Many whey proteins have been found to contain heavy metals, especially lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury. What else? Pesticide residues like glyphosate that the cows are exposed to in their feed. And these aren't just random contaminants. They actually accumulate in the body and they directly impact your brain and nervous system. They can affect your mood, your focus, your long-term neurological health. Quality of sourcing is so important. Whey from factory farm cows raised in GMO feed is a completely different product from whey from grass-fed cows on open pastured. Is a completely different product from whey from grass-fed cows eating on open pastures. Factory farm whey often will have higher inflammatory compounds and fewer beneficial proteins. And not only that, the processing. A lot of the whey that comes from farm-raised cows are actually exposed to harsh chemical solvents, high heat processing, which can actually denature the whey, strip away the delicate bioactive proteins like lactoferrin or immunoglobulins that are really going to help support not only your muscles, but your immunity, your gut health. When these companies use cold filtration, this preserves these compounds, but very few brands nowadays are using it. A lot of whey proteins have additives. They're loaded with gums, artificial sweeteners, fillers that can, yes, irritate the gut, especially if you have a sensitive gut. I remember when I was working out in college and I was having the GNC whey protein, my gut was a mess for years and I didn't know what it was until I threw away those big 5-pound jugs. And in some cases, these really poor quality whey proteins that are loaded with additives can actually affect your microbiome as well, which we know the disrupted microbiome will ultimately, in time, inevitably affect your brain and your mental health. So yes, whey can be a powerful tool, but only if it's coming from clean, transparent companies that actually test, third-party test. Otherwise, you can possibly be putting your body through stress on the very system that you're actually trying to strengthen. Okay, so as we move to the review, I want to let you in on the questions that we asked this company. We had to know from the get-go, what is the primary protein source? Is it grass-fed, organic, non-GMO? Are they farm-raised? It's really important. Is your facility GMP certified or third-party audited for quality? We have to know if their facility is hitting a standard of quality. If not, you are going to be getting a subpar product. I've seen it time and time again and again. Do you provide a certificate of analysis? This is really important, especially when they're doing it for every batch, because we're seeing third-party testing, transparent companies that are putting in the extra money to get that testing to make sure you're not only getting a safe product, but a product that matches what they're putting on the label. That's a good, transparent company. And when they do third-party testing, we know that they really care about the levels of heavy metals, pesticides, glyphosate, microbial contamination, any allergens. They're companies that are actually taking the next step. We want to know, is your whey processed with cold microfiltration, or are they using a lot of those harsh solvents and high heat? We want to know, are these whey protein powders filled with additives like gums, artificial flavors, and preservatives? So for us, we have a high standard at Heal Thyself. If they're not giving us this standard, they are not going to be on the 2025 list. Because if a company can't prove safety and transparency, why do they deserve our money? So let's go into it. Here's how 52 companies stacked up. 5 provided full certificates of analysis and passed the test across the board with flying colors. 7 responded, but actually never sent us third-party testing, which is so important. 4 flat out denied participating. They said, we want nothing to do with you. And 36 never responded at all. And I can assure you, we tried and tried and tried to get these companies to give us the answers. We gave them ample amount of time. At the end of the day, you have to start answering emails and DMs. So that means only 5 companies stood up to the real scrutiny, and we're going to get into it. But before you do, if you love empowering yourself with these product reviews, knowing what's worth your money, which companies to support, and which ones to stay away from, guess what? I've put together a full master list. You can download it in the description in this video, and it's always updated with results from every single product review. So you'll have an all-in-one place reference for the best and worst products across the industry year to year. It's the best resource. All right, before we go into the best and worst, I want to give a quick call out to the companies that actually responded but didn't provide the third-party testing. Hopefully next year they do and make it to the top of the top list. The brands that landed here were Alpha Lion, Momentous, Truvani, ATP Labs, Mount Capra, Legion Athletics, and Devotion Nutrition. And while I can't vouch for these companies today, hopefully when we do our review next year, they'll step up. All right, here are whey protein powder brands to stay away from. I cannot get behind them. I know nothing about them. They were not transparent. They weren't even communicative. So I would actually stay away until further notice. Gainful, Bucked Up, Isopure, Flav City, Clean Simple Eats, Equip Foods, NorCal Organic, which was actually surprising because I hear that one's pretty good. Nothing Fake Ever. That's a brand name. So these companies either denied transparency or didn't respond at all with no testing data. I can't recommend them. Now, a really good company to support is a new up-and-coming one that I just found out about. It's called Cono, K-O-N-O. They source their whey from Irish grass-fed cows. They focus on regenerative agriculture and animal welfare. They approve 2+ acres per cow with rotational grazing, which is amazing. Their facility in Utah is GMP and NSF certified. They have third-party testing. They provided certificates of analysis for every single batch. They test for heavy metals, pesticides, glyphosate, microbial contamination. It's publicly available, which is fantastic. Awesome company to support. They use cold microfiltration, undenatured whey, high quality. When it comes to whey, this is a gold standard in transparency and regenerative farming. It's a fantastic product. Let's go back to companies to stay away from. Ballerina Farms, ProMix, All Max, Natural Forest, which was heartbreaking because I know that's a good company. I wish they shared stuff. No Whey, W-H-E-Y, Earth Fed Muscle, Ascent Protein, and Naked Nutrition. These are lack of testing, lack of transparency, no COAs provided, or refusal to engage in this investigation. Another good company, Transparent Labs. It's US grass-fed whey isolate. They do not have organic certification, but they follow NSF and GMP certified standards. They are third-party audited for quality. They third-party test every single batch. They provide certificates of analysis. They test for heavy metals and bacterial contamination. They process with no solvents. There's no artificial fillers. This would be really good for athletes who want a solid, clean whey at a good price point, but don't need the regenerative details of like a Cono, for example. Here are other companies to stay away from. Puradyme, Dymatize, Pura Vida Labs, Paleo Valley, MTN OPS, Mountain Ops, I guess, Sasha Fitness, Heart and Soil, and Designs for Health. These companies provided no COA and lacked transparency. Another good company to support, Just Ingredients. These are pasture-raised cows, the whey's from New Zealand and Europe, non-GMO feed. They're 350 plus days on pasture. Their facilities are GMP and NSF certified. They use concentrate and isolate. They test for heavy metals and contaminants like glyphosate and allergens. Their formulas are sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No sugar, no fillers, and they have whole food flavors. This is really good for people who want clean flavors and pasture-raised sourcing with the natural sweeteners and none of the junk. Here's another batch of companies to stay away from until further notice. Some of them are heartbreaking because I really like them. Nuzest, Organifi, Be Well by Kelly, 22 Nutrition, Santa Cruz Paleo, Parallel, Chief Nutrition, and Bowmar Nutrition. Unfortunately, none of them were responsive. There was no transparency and no certificates of analysis. Another fantastic whey company that I support, one that I take personally myself as part of my regimen, is the one by Kion. They use grass-fed, pasture-raised cows, non-GMO. They are transparent about their sourcing standards. They manufacture in GMP and NSF certified facilities. They have full COAs. They test heavy metals, pesticides, glyphosate, microbial contaminants. They use cold processing, no solvents, clean flavor profile. This is really good for people who want that trusted premium option of whey, really good for health and performance overall. And as we come to our last batch of whey proteins to stay away from, Rule 1, Array, Simply Terra's, Ghost Lifestyle, Boba, Now Foods, Sports Nutrition, and Jocko Fuel. Unfortunately, no testing data, no transparency, and they denied participation. I cannot even speak on them. Another good company to support, and the last one for today, is Puori. Love them. They utilize grass-fed cows from Europe and New Zealand, no growth hormones, no GMO feed. They manufacture in GMP certified US facilities, third-party audited. They use COAs and test every single batch. They test for heavy metals, glyphosate, pesticides, microbial contamination. They use cold microfiltration, no solvents, additive-free. This way is good for people who want to support a company that is really, really into thorough testing without overpaying. So there you have it. Out of 52 whey protein powders, only 5 made the cut. The top 5 whey protein powders of 2025. Here is the list again. It's Cono, K-O-N-O, for regenerative sourcing, fantastic whey. Transparent Labs for clean simplicity. Just ingredients for high quality whey with different flavors. Kion for that premium performance. And Puori for that whey protein that is balanced and thoroughly tested. The rest of the brands, either unresponsive, unwilling, or flat out refusing to be transparent. And in 2025, with the communication networks that we have, with the science that we have, it is absolutely unacceptable to not be transparent, to not be proud of your product, to not be screaming it from the top of the hills and saying, I have a fantastic whey protein. Unfortunately, for the companies that didn't respond, you might want to get a new person behind that computer. You might want to get a new person behind the phone answering those DMs and answering those emails. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that your money is supporting companies that are supporting you, period. I'm Dr. Christian Gonzalez. Thank you for listening for this whey protein product review of 2025. We will be back next year with hopefully a more extensive list. Let's go.